Welcome to Better Faith e-learning platform. My name is Mr. Benjamin Obi. I'm here this morning to take the subject Basic Science for Basic 3 and Primary 3. And our topic this morning is food. Our topic this morning is food. Food is one of the basic needs of life because both plants and animals need food for survival. That is, all living things, including plants and animals, they all need food for their survival. And food is usually of plant and animal origin that contain carbohydrate, vitamin, protein, mineral, fat, and oil. What is food? Food is anything living things can eat, including plants and animals, to stay alive and to carry out their daily activities. That is, all living things need food for their survival. Even plants. Plants manufacture their own food through a process known as photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process through which plants manufacture their own food through sunlight. Plants and animals, they all need food, including human beings. I believe this morning your mommy have prepared food for you to eat. Without food, you will not be able to carry out most of the daily activities that is expected of you. So, both plants and animals, they all need food, including human beings. They all need food for their survival. So, food is very, very important. Food is very, very important. That is why it is regarded as a basic need for life. Food is usually of plant and animal origins. It contains protein, vitamin, mineral, salts, fat, and oil. And we also have on the board examples of foodstuff. What are the examples of foodstuff? Examples of foodstuff include, we have gari is a good example of foodstuff. Yam is a good example of foodstuff. Rice is a good example of foodstuff. And cocoyam is also a good example. There are so many that you can mention on your own. So we have examples, numerous examples of foodstuff. And it is expected of us, at least everybody should eat at least 3 times in a day for us to stay healthy. It is expected for us to take our breakfast. The food that we usually eat in the morning is referred to as breakfast. And it is good for us to eat a very light meal as our breakfast. Then the food we eat in the afternoon is known as a lunch. And it is expected of us to eat a very heavy food, to take a very heavy food during our lunch period. And the one we eat before going to bed is our dinner. What is balanced diet? Balanced diet is a food which contains all the classes of nutrients in the right proportion. Let me take it again. Balanced diet simply means is that food which contains all the classes of food in the right proportions. What are the classes of food? We have the protein, the carbohydrates, the protein, the vitamin, the mineral salt, fat and oil, and water. What are the examples of carbohydrates? Or let me even ask, what is carbohydrate? Carbohydrates, they are referred to as the energy-giving food because it supplies energy to the body. We have examples of carbohydrate. Some of the examples of carbohydrate include, we have yam, rice, cocoyam, maize, name it. There are so many examples of carbohydrates. Carbohydrate is the energy-given food. It supplies what? It supplies energy to the body so that we can carry out our daily activities. Then we have protein. Protein. This class of food helps to repair the damaged cells and tissue. Protein helps to repair the damaged cells and tissues in the body. Hence, they are called the body-building food. Protein is also referred to as the body-building food because it repairs worn-out cells and tissues in the body. What are the examples of protein? Some of the examples of protein include we have beans. Beans is a good example of protein. Fish is also a good example of protein. Meat is also a good example of protein. Milk is a good example of protein. Then we have vitamin. Vitamin, this class of food helps to protect the body against infections and sickness. Protein helps to protect the body against infections and sickness. What are the examples of vitamin? We have fruits like mango is a good example. Pineapple is a good example. Pawpaw is a good example. Orange is a good example. Name it. We have numerous examples of vitamin. We also have the mineral salt. This class of food contributes to the growth of strong bone and teeth. Minerals are found in small quantities in food like vegetables, fish, bones, crayfish. The essence of mineral salt is that it makes our bones to be what? Strong. It makes our bones to be strong. We also have fat and oil. These classes of food keeps the body warm. Fat and oil keeps the body warm. Examples of fat and oil include we have groundnut. Groundnut is a good example of fat and oil. Another good example of fat and oil we have palm oil. It's a good example of fat and oil. We also have butter is also a good example. There are so many examples of under this fat and oil, numerous that you can mention on your own. Then we have water. Water, that is, the human body is made up of about 75% of water. The human body is made up of about 75% of water. That is, water is needed in the body to maintain the body temperature and to aid digestion. And also assist in food digestion. It aids digestion and also assists food absorption. What are the sources of water? We have borehole is a good example, one of the sources of water. We have tap is a good example of sources of water, and we also have rivers, etc. Groups of food. Food are grouped under the following headings. Food are grouped under the following headings. A, we have the grains or cereals. Examples include we have rice, maize, wheat, sorghum, etc. They are all examples of grains or cereals. Then we also have fruits. Examples of fruit include we have mango, apple, lemon, grapes, pears, orange, banana, etc. Then we have vegetables. Under vegetables, we have water leaf is a good example. Bitter leaf is a good example. Pumpkin is a good example of vegetable, and tomato is also a good example of vegetables. Then we have fat and oil. Examples of fat and oil include palm oil, groundnut oil, cod liver oil, butter, etc. Then we have root and tuber. Under tuber, we have a good example of root and tuber includes ginger, garlic, onion, cocoyam, cassava, yam. Is a good example of root and tuber. Then finally we have meat and fish. They are also good examples. Then we have harmful food and their effects. We have under this topic harmful food, subtopic harmful food and their effects. When we talk about harmful food, what did you understand by harmful food? Harmful food means food that can cause problems in our body when eating. This type of food, it causes the body system to change when we eat this type of food. And what are the examples of harmful food? Some of the examples of harmful food include we have unripe fruits. Unripe fruits is a good example of harmful food. So it is not Uncovered and exposed food is also what a good example of harmful food. It's a good example of harmful food. How to avoid eating harmful food? 1. Eat only ripe and fresh fruits. It is expected of us to eat only ripe and fresh fruit. 2. Wash all food before eating. That is, before we eat any food, it is expected of us to wash the fruit thoroughly before eating. 3. Wash your hands thoroughly before using them to eat. It's expected of us to wash our hands thoroughly in order to remove the dirt in our hands before using our hands to eat fruits. Dispose any expired food or drink. Finally, we should cook food very well before eating and cover the leftover food. It is expected of us to cover our leftover food so that flies or other insects will not perch on the food. So practice exercise. Practice exercise. Practice exercise. 1. What is food? 2. State the various classes of food. 3. What is balanced diet? 4. Mention 6 harmful food. Thank you.